Hi, everybody. Mondion Astral Oracles. I'm doing this video, this channel update, because it's about 4 years ago that I began vocal channeling and that I began sharing it on YouTube, posting my first video with the ancient shapeshifting reptilians. The rest is history, as they say, and you can of course go back and follow my whole journey, both with the channeling and the stuff that's been going on in my life on the sidelines, if you want to. Though there are a whole lot of videos by now. I think we might be getting around 500 or something. So there's kind of a massive back catalog there, and I think that's probably symptomatic of how I feel about it. It's been a very interesting process for me. It's been incredibly enjoyable, adventurous, curious, rewarding in so many ways, and I've absolutely loved most parts of the journey, and still enjoy the channeling work. But I also feel like this sense that it's been so expensive. It's accumulated so many lessons and things that I need to integrate, go over, work over in due course and in good time. And that's sort of the place where I'm at with it. And it's interesting, coming up on 4 years. So also sensing that mnemonically, it's almost as if the 4 years just that just makes it a long time. So it's like it's something that you've been doing forever almost. It can seem that way, and of course I feel I've grown very skilled in a channel for thousands of hours by now, both in private sessions and in public, and a lot of that stuff is accessible, the live stream, so forth and so on. But I've really done a whole lot of channeling, so it's something I feel very natural and very comfortable and very assured and confident in my ability to do. So what's happening in my life and has been happening for this year has really been a hard confrontation with more mundane reality, and trying to keep the eon aspect of the mondion alive in that. Um, and that's been very rewarding. There's definitely been a lot of development in that, for better or worse. And now I'm down here in this quaint little old house, and no, you're not going crazy, and it's not just my bad camera angles. It is actually pretty crooked and windy. This little 150-year-old house. And so since August, I've been working at a nursing facility at the other side of the village, just a stroll away, with an old lady who has suffered a stroke and has a. I'm actually my official title is doing breath surveillance, so it's making sure that her breathways are unclogged, but it is general nursing, and she also has pretty severe dementia. So it's just very, very interesting emotionally, and in regards to communication and everything, being around her. So we have our ups and downs. But that's been a very interesting, and in many ways also a rewarding and learning experience, doing that. And then I had this encounter also. It seemed very preordained, a lot of synchronicities and Joycean wordplays and names and things involving themselves in an encounter I had with a young lady, a romantic encounter with somebody I met randomly walking into the place she was starting up named Shakti. And that kind of went from I met her on a new moon, and then on a new moon I broke that off, and like that was this new moon. So now that there's been like like things to digest around that, but it really does seem like vibrationally things are shifting and wanting to integrate and place themselves in my life physically. I've been feeling quite healthy, like the Kundalini stuff is in a good place. But then, of course, you know, sometimes lately it really feels like my sacrum has been blocked. So a lot of stuff going on with that. Um, that was me talking about myself for 5 minutes, and also perhaps explaining why it seems to me, at least, like I've been a little preoccupied and away from the channeling. And as you may infer, I've been having a full-time job. I work 12-hour shifts, so it feels like I have a lot of free time, um, but I of course make money that way too. So in that sense, like the pressure is off from that aspect of the channeling, and my sincere and deepest gratitude to all of you who've donated and supported through the years, and who've shown up for the live streams, and who've worked with the practice and with me. It's been very interesting and very magical. And right now I'm also, of course, at the place where I can kind of take the money I make from this, and then put it aside and invest it back in the practice. So that's also fairly enjoyable, though it does seem that it's been kind of at a lull and at the on the back burner for a while with this. Um, so I don't know if this meandering video kind of reflects that there is kind of a meandering energy about it. I'm not quite sure where it's taking me, but I'm also, I think, at a place where I'm finally coming to terms with the fact that it is kind of it's an unwrapping of something that's organic, dynamic, holistic, and reveals itself and its shape over time. So in that way, it's also just for me to keep up with it and keep discovering and rediscovering it, and sharing that with people who may resonate with it, because that is so beautiful and compelling to me. And I think, because I am fairly neurotic Apollonian, guilt driven, guilt ridden, then I think I have this tendency to often like turn it into neurosis, things on my to-do list that I feel I really have to do. And so what I'm doing and have been doing for the past months is also kind of to allow myself to say that, okay, if I don't feel like it, I'm not going to do it, because at some point, you know, it's usually, if you allow yourself to at least mentally say no, you can figure out if you actually want to say yes, and then the thrill of it kind of unwraps itself, and I rediscover it all over again. So with loads of channeling and fun stuff to come. Thank you for being on the journey, both those of you who have kept up with it for a long time, and supported me through my work and my travels, sending me magic ponchos and blankets. So Laurie, thank you so much for that, and to everybody, I hope you know who you are. Um, it's been magical. So I hope that you also feel that the process that you're going through is merciful, not too intense, and is also showing you some valuable sides of yourself and existence that you may have forgotten going into it. with that, much love to you, everybody.